22 minutes and 47 seconds. 22 minutes and 47 seconds. That's how long Sean Foley had to think about what he wanted to do with Jimmy Shelton. For 22 minutes and 47 seconds, he hid, he concealed himself, and he recorded a conversation between Jimmy Shelton and Miranda Goddard, Sean Foley's girlfriend. Over the course of that 22 minutes and 47 seconds, Sean Foley decided that Jimmy Shelton had to die. And after that 22 minutes and 47 seconds, Sean Foley thought it was the perfect situation and the perfect time for him to do the killing. Let's talk for a second about Sean Foley. What was going on with him in August of 2018? The proof will show that he didn't have a real job. You may hear a little bit about what he was doing to make some money, but no real job. He didn't have any real money. He didn't have a car. His vehicle was broken down. Him and Miranda had been kicked out of their apartment. He didn't have much. What did he have? What did he own? Well, he had his girlfriend, Miranda Goddard. He had his smartphone, and he had a Springfield Mod 2 subcompact 40 caliber handgun with a fully loaded magazine. That's what he had. Let's talk a minute about Miranda Goddard. You're going to meet Miranda Goddard throughout the course of this trial. In August of 2018, Miranda Goddard was a 25-year-old woman, a grown woman. She had been working, but she had been incarcerated for a couple weeks prior to this shooting. There's not really any other way to say this, but she has a bit of a different lifestyle. She has a history of using her body to help financially support herself. She engages in modeling, often very scantily clad. She has previously worked as an exotic dancer. She had and does sell erotic photos and videos of herself to private parties for a profit. That's what she does to help financially support herself. Sean Foley knew this on the night of the shooting. He knew what Miranda Goddard did. He recorded the conversation between the two of them, and the state submits that the proof will show that on August 28th, that is exactly what was happening. Miranda Goddard was using her body to try to negotiate a deal with Jimmy Shelton. And Sean Foley wasn't going to have any of it. How long did they talk about this deal? She was going to use her body to get a vehicle, a car, from Jimmy Shelton for her and Sean to use. And they talked about what could and could not happen, what the parameters of this deal were. They talked about this for 22 minutes and 47 seconds. Let's just spend a second talking about Jimmy Shelton. In August of 2018, Jimmy Shelton is a 44-year-old man who works as an assistant manager at Costco. He and his longtime girlfriend, fiance of 18 years, own the house at 808 Beaver Drive in Blount County, Tennessee. Now, Jimmy is not perfect. The state of Tennessee is not setting out to prove that Jimmy Shelton was an angel. I don't take any pleasure in saying that, considering who is sitting in the courtroom here today, but facts are what facts are. The fact is that Jimmy's longtime girlfriend, fiance, is Dawn McGinnis. And Dawn McGinnis is the mother of Miranda Goddard. Yes, that same Miranda Goddard that Jimmy is having this conversation with about making a deal for this vehicle. The proof very well may show that this wasn't the first deal that Jimmy and Miranda had struck with one another. The truth is, there's a long history between Jimmy and Miranda, and it isn't a pretty history. But Sean knew all this. He knew all this well ahead of time. Miranda had told him this well before this date. And no matter what is argued to you during the course of this trial, the state submits that their history has nothing to do with the killing of Jimmy Shelton on August 28, 2018. It does not change that murder. So let's talk about that date. August the 28th, 2018. It was a Tuesday. Okay? The day before, the 27th, was a Monday. Miranda Goddard had been in jail a couple weeks. She had been making a circuit around the local counties. But she was eligible to be bonded out of Blount County Jail on August the 27th. She was going to leave and stay where? At 808 Beaver Drive with her mother, Dawn, and with Jimmy. Miranda and her mother were on good terms. Miranda and Jimmy were on good terms. Despite any history on its face, Jimmy and Miranda had a seemingly normal relationship. They communicated in normal ways. They offered to help each other out, broken down vehicles, car trouble, moving furniture, normal stuff. Miranda had been dating the defendant, Sean Foley. And again, Sean and Jimmy had a seemingly normal relationship. Sean would come over to their house. Him and Jimmy would watch TV together. They had worked out together. Sean had even brought over his daughter to stay at Dawn and Jimmy's house on multiple occasions. The Friday before this, on August the 21st, Sean had texted and asked Jimmy and Dawn if he could stay at their house because he wanted to be there when Miranda got bonded out of jail. They agreed. They let Sean Foley move into their house and stay with them on August the 25th or 4th, the Friday before this, even though Miranda was still in jail. So on Monday the 27th, the day before the shooting, Miranda gets back to the Blount County Jail. Her sister, Marissa, drives Sean to the jail where they bond her out. Who pays for her bond? Jimmy Shelton and her mother, Dawn McGinnis. That's who pays to bond her out of jail. On the way back to the house, they stop and they get a bottle of vodka to help Miranda celebrate the occasion, getting out of custody. And finally, they get back home to 808 Beaver Drive. The other people staying in the house at that time are Jimmy Shelton and Dawn McGinnis, the homeowners, Miranda, Sean Foley, Miranda's sister, Marissa, who's 9 months pregnant, Marissa's 2-year-old daughter, and Miranda's 4-year-old daughter. They're all staying at the house together. Everyone sits around the kitchen table that evening catching up, having seemingly normal conversations. Sean, Miranda, and Jimmy get to drinking. The children go to bed. Dawn goes to bed. Marissa goes to bed. The only people up are Sean, Miranda, and Jimmy. Sean and Miranda are taking shots of vodka out of the bottle they purchased. Jimmy is drinking Southern Comfort and peach tea. Night turns to midnight. Midnight turns to morning. And dawn approaches. It's sometime not long after 5 o'clock in the morning that Jimmy, Miranda, and Sean are sitting on the back porch behind the home at 808 Beaver Drive. The state submits a proof will show at this point that Miranda and Jimmy are pretty intoxicated, drinking all night. Jimmy and Miranda start talking about this deal that they're going to make. Miranda and Sean need a vehicle. Miranda knows that Sean won't like this proposal, so she sends him inside the house to get another shot of vodka. But Sean has picked up on enough to know what's going on. He knows what Miranda and Jimmy are up to. So instead of going inside and getting a shot of vodka, he goes to a window in a room just outside the porch. He gets out his phone and he starts to record. He records Miranda and Jimmy talking. Not only that, but he begins to repeat what they're saying. He begins to narrate their conversation back into the phone. He sits and he waits and he listens for 22 minutes and 47 seconds. And you're going to hear this recording of that night. I got to warn you on the front end, it is tough to listen to. It's frustrating. Parts of it are very audible, but parts of it is very hard to understand what's going on. You're going to be straining to listen, to want to hear every detail of what they had to say. And you're going to get frustrated because you might get lost. And I'm sorry about that. There's nothing that can be done about that. The recording is the recording. But that recording will be an exhibit. And you can take that. When the time comes, you can listen to it as often as you want to. As much as you'd like. As much as you deem necessary. And if you're careful, if you're thorough, we submit that the evidence will begin to become pretty clear. What happened on the morning of August 28th? Sean Foley listens to Miranda and Jimmy talk about their past, talk about what they're going to do, what they're planning, and what's going to happen to make this deal go through. And he decides he ain't having it. He's going to take matters into his own hands. He's going to remove Jimmy from the equation. And he knows that whether it's before or after, Miranda's going to be an important part of this. And she's going to need to be on his side. So he waits, and he listens, and he keeps waiting. Why? Because talk isn't enough. He waits until Jimmy and Miranda start to make good on their deal. And that's when he acts. He goes to his backpack. He opens his backpack. He procures his weapon. He removes his Springfield subcompact .40. He goes through the house and walks to the door to the back porch. And that's when he confronts them. On the porch, on Jimmy Shelton's own porch. He raises his gun and he points it at Jimmy Shelton. And that's when he threatens him. He threatens him and says, "If you touch her again, I'm going to drop you. I am going to drop you." Now, I don't know whether it's courage or foolishness or just intoxication, but Jimmy Shelton doesn't cower to this man pointing a gun in his face, Sean Foley. Even though Sean Foley has a gun pointed at him and Jimmy Shelton's hands are empty. He's wearing gym shorts, a t-shirt, and sandals. He's got nothing. Miranda walks up. What does she say? "Sean, stop. Sean, stop." Sean ain't having it. And when Jimmy doesn't cower, when Jimmy doesn't back down, Sean Foley unloads on him. Bang, 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 bang. 8 shots. 8 shots on the back porch of this home with multiple completely innocent people and children inside. 8 shots. His girlfriend just a couple feet away. Sean unloads 8 times. 4 of these shots strike Jimmy. 2 in the chest, 1 in the neck, 1 in the side. 4 of them strike all sorts of objects that are right around him. But it's not just what's said before the shooting that's important. It's also very important what's said after the shooting, because the recording keeps going. It doesn't end there. And luckily, that part of the recording, clear as day. Clear as day. Does Sean react like a person who has just been unpreparedly thrust into this terrible situation? Does he act like someone who's shocked about what just happened? Does he even attempt to render aid to the person that he just punched 4 holes in? Is he worried that the guy might be dying? Is he worried about the other people in the house? No. He yells and he screams right at Miranda. He screams at her and he tells her, even though she's there, he tells her what was going on. He says, "You were being molested." He says, "You were being raped." He says he's justified in what he's done. But what does Miranda say? The person who was there. Does she say she was being molested? Does she say she was being raped? All she says, really she sobs, all she sobs is, "Why? What did you do, Sean? Why, Sean? What did you do?" And right there, on the back porch of 808 Beaver Drive, while his fiancée and her daughter Marissa perform CPR, doing everything they can to keep him alive, right there Jimmy Shelton takes his last breath. You'll hear it all, and you'll hear more. You'll hear from law enforcement. You'll hear from Marissa. You'll hear from Dawn. And you will hear from Miranda herself. And you will decide, based on what you hear from that witness stand, based on what the evidence tells you, you will take that proof and you will apply that evidence to the laws of the state of Tennessee. And at the end of the day, the state of Tennessee submits that that evidence, that proof, and that testimony goes in one and only one direction. And that direction is the premeditated first-degree murder of Jimmy Shelton by that man, Sean Foley.